I'm Diana Steele, and I'm here at Fresh Street Market in West Vancouver, and today I'm talking about saturated fats. It's a hot topic these days. Even headlines are saying butter is back. Well, butter's not back, not as a health food. It may be neutral at best, but there is a lot of emerging evidence that saturated fats may not be as bad as we once thought in terms of heart disease risk. And so it's important to have a look at all of the research. When studying people and the way that they eat and how they're reporting their food, there's a lot of discrepancy. So you need to wait for a lot of data in order to make a really good decision. But there is emerging evidence that maybe looking at LDL cholesterol by itself is not the best marker for cardiovascular disease. LDL cholesterol has different particle sizes, and the big fluffy particles in LDL are actually not quite as bad for your cardiovascular disease risk, and those ones are increased by eating saturated fats, whereas the small little LDL particles are a risk factor for heart disease, and those ones are increased by carbohydrates and refined sugars. So research is showing that when you replace your saturated fats with a refined carbohydrate or sugar, or crackers and cookies, they will increase your risk for cardiovascular disease. So it's a really good idea to continue to reduce your sugar intake and those refined grains. The whole grains are not associated with an increased risk. So it's just those refined ones at the moment. The other thing that's been shown is that by reducing your saturated fats and replacing them with omega-3 fats, so omega-3 in fish and nuts and seeds and liquid oils, they will help reduce your overall saturated or overall cardiovascular disease risk. And finally, when you're looking at dairy fats have been shown, maybe because of their complex matrix of nutrients, not to have a negative impact on cardiovascular disease and maybe even reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. So dairy fats may be on the comeback, and therefore choosing a higher fat yogurt that has no sugar in it could be a really good option. The other thing that you want to think about is butter. No, it's not an ultimate health food. You don't want to add it in copious amounts, but certainly including it or of liquid vegetable oil would be a better choice. So saturated fats, keep on the lookout for more emerging evidence.
All right, Diana, thanks very much for that. If you want to know more or have other nutrition questions, a couple of ways of reaching out to Diana. Both of them are on your screen, her phone number and her website, eatingforenergy.com.